like to think of childhood as this time of joy and innocence. But, I mean, for many of us, it's just not true.
We just pretend all those things don't happen. Our investment in the denial is so high.
Kids are young, they're very resilient, they don't know what's going on, they won't remember anyway. Well, the child may not remember, but the body remembers.
This is the biggest public health discovery we've ever seen.
It blew my mind, just blew my mind.
We didn't know that all of these kind of problems have a common cause. There was this incredible gee whiz effect. You mean adverse childhood experiences cause heart disease and lung disease and liver and cancer?
The impact is on your behavior, it's on your learning, it's on your heart, it's on your DNA. Like, how do you deal with all that stuff?
The biggest problem that we need to avoid is people not wanting to talk about it or people not wanting to address it.
We have a whole new body of knowledge now that could open up new ways of thinking about what we have up till now been seen as intractable, unsolvable problems.
And if you can weave the science through these different sectors and get it into the hands of the general population, they will invent very wise actions.
It's there, it's possible. And a defeatist kind of attitude or a sense of futility is completely disconnected from what 21st century science is telling us. And we should be going after that like a bear.
My strongest belief, especially as a person that's been working in public health now for more than 25 years, is this information needs to get to everyone, not just us, not just the smart people like us, right? Back in the 1980s, I became interested in the emotional underpinnings of disease and behaviors. How things like depression might affect the incidence of cardiovascular disease. Back then, it was really controversial, and people actually laughed at us for getting into that kind of work and say, well, Rob, what does this have to do with public health or medicine? And they're saying, well, he's nuts.
The key message that we have learned is that a totally different kind of history-taking needs to be done.
My colleagues assured me that I was crazy to think about doing this.
What one finds from this is quite important.
Vince Folletti and I, we didn't know it, but we were working in parallel fields.
That's a hard question. I started really getting heavy after the molestation.
I started routinely inquiring about childhood sexual activity and was really overwhelmed because it seemed that every other person I was asking was providing me a history of childhood sexual abuse. And I vividly remember thinking, this can't be true. People would know. Somebody would have told me. Wasn't that what medical school was for?
I did blame myself for not saying anything. I should have said something.
To them about back in the day when this thing of toxic stress was just emerging, and can you believe we didn't have all the systems that we now have in place? And it happens from the work of every single person in this room, every parent, every person who we talk to and we touch, because it's not anything that any one of us does, but we as a community of Americans, we are at a tipping point. We will get to our goal.